How many of you are not members? Not members. Okay. You're the ones I want to talk to. We want you to be members. You can come to the first Wednesday every month for $20 as long as you want to, as often as you want to. But like Laura said, the real business of the Inventors Association happens at the closed door meetings, the third Wednesday of every month, members only. So we have people bring in a big plastic bag. We have people who present an animated video of what their idea is so you can see how it works. And people go, ooh, ah, and why didn't I think of that? So that's the place where cooperation happens. You get your individual questions answered. You can tell us, here's where I am, and tell us what you need. We will offer suggestions and comments. And one time somebody worked on their iPhone and said, that was invented 40 years ago. Stop all efforts. You cannot get a patent on it if it's been invented anywhere worldwide in the past. Whether it was an invention that was patented or it was just publicized. So you have 1 year from the time you make public your information. A sale, a publication, a presentation at a meeting. You have 1 year to file your patent application or you forever lose the right to that intellectual property. But what you talk about in a closed door meeting, we are all under a mutual non-disclosure agreement, so you do not start that clock. You can work on a project for weeks, months, years without starting that 1 year clock. But once you've made a public disclosure, 1 year is your deadline. So we would like for you very much to join us. Tonight's speaker is going to tell us how to be strategically disruptive. This is not a fight on the playground. This is something new and different that changes things. Taxi companies did not see Uber and Lyft coming. It's like, what the heck? She'll tell us how to attract more buyers, even in a crowded marketplace. So you don't have to be first to market. Often the second or third person to market has the better product. So Stacy is an entrepreneur, a patented inventor, a part-time philosopher who helps people create physical products and digital services. And with that, I give you tonight's speaker, Stacy McGee.
Hello, everyone. So really quick, I have some people in Australia and Canada who want to join us live. So I'm going to put on a Facebook Live. And this is something that I would suggest that as you guys are building your fan base for your products, that you use this as a great tool to interact with your customers. And so I'm going to start that video so that they can listen, and we may have poor reception. Never mind. They're not going to listen. We're just going to talk to you. So as he said, my name is Stacy McGee, and I am a twice patented inventor. I hold 2 patents, and I am also an intuitive business strategist. So what that means is that I come in and I help people develop strategies and ecosystems that support their products. As the markets have changed and shifted, people are demanding more than just products. They want to know the people behind the products. They want to know the story behind the products, and they also want to feel supported. So we've found that with physical products, if you're supporting them with educational materials and other ways to connect to them, it creates a self-supporting ecosystem that also increases your revenue when you get into your companies. So that's kind of what I do. This is my family. I wanted to introduce you to them. I'm actually a mom of 7. These are my youngest 5. My oldest 2 are already out of the home, and I have my first grandchild. I do. I have a 4-month-old grandchild. So my husband's in the center, the boy with the brown hair that's got the goofy smile, Caden, was the inspiration for my first invention, which was a cloth diaper that was a one-size reusable cloth diaper. We were up in Idaho, poor as dirt, and I started using cloth diapers to save money. as most of you guys probably started your inventions because it solved one of your own problems. And this product solved my problem for my son. And as I started using cloth diapers, I realized that the diapers leaked, they were bulky, they weren't what I wanted. So I went and invented my cloth diaper, and I actually wrote my first provisional patent myself, and then I took it to an attorney who helped me with the filings, and we ended up getting issued 2 patents, one for the original patent. As we went into the patent office, they said, hey, you have 2 ideas here, we're giving you a divisional. So I ended up with 2 patents. And this is my company, Boingo Baby. And this little baby's wearing one of my cloth diapers. We also now have cloth diaper fasteners, 2 issued patents, as I said. That products were inspired by my children, and then also my fasteners, which I didn't put a picture up here, I should have. I actually woke up from a dream and had an idea for my product. I ran out to Michael's, grabbed some clay, sculpted a model. Within 30 days, I had it manufactured, and within another 30 days, I had that entire shipment sold out based on one post in a social media industry-specific forum. People saw the value in my product, and I was taking pre-sales, and we sold out before the shipment even arrived at my door. Which is definitely evidence that if you have the right product, people will come and they will buy it. We are now sold in 500 independent retailers and Amazon. And my company was recently valued at $2.2 million, and we have received an offer of $800,000 investment to take that company to the next level. So I wanted to talk to you guys kind of about what I did with my company, which is going viral, because everybody nowadays, they want to be that next product, that one that's like that viral video that everybody is sharing. And a lot of people think it's just dumb luck that these products go viral, but it really isn't dumb luck. It's a strategy, and there's a lot of work that goes on behind it. Like I said, this quote says, it does not happen by accident. It's something that is a strategic plan, and if you set things up right, it gives you a lot higher of a chance and opportunity to move your products in a viral way. And it also helps if you're doing things like Kickstarter to sell those out. Kickstarter is one of my favorite ways to fund new ideas. Let's see. So, oops, we've got to go backwards here. Let's see if I can make this work. Sorry, guys. There we go. So everyone wants the next viral product. You have the genius to make it happen. And what that means is that, everybody wants to be the next big thing. Everybody wants to get on Shark Tank. I was actually approached 3 separate times to put my product on Shark Tank. We did not end up going on Shark Tank because we found from a lot of my friends who went on, they said, don't go. Don't do it. And this was before when they were taking a lot of ownership away from the inventors. They no longer do that. So it is now a more viable option. But, it's not as easy as it seems. They invite over 40,000 people a year to go on Shark Tank. Out of those 40,000 people, I believe they said it was about 2,000 to 3,000 that actually get invited to California, and then they pick from those. And they pick people based on stories. They'll edit your story to make it look like whatever they want. A friend of mine went on that show, and they actually called her. Sometimes they will actually call people, hey, you have a cool product that's hot. We want you on our show. She said, I really don't want an investment, but they were like, hey, it's good advertising, come on the show. And her experience left her in tears the day after it aired. So my advice is always use caution, because if it seems too good to be true or too easy, sometimes it is. And I wanted to talk to you guys about passion, because it's kind of assumed that all of you are very passionate about your products and ideas. But if you're not passionate about your products and ideas, if you get out there, you're going to have a really hard time selling your product. People are going to have a really hard time believing why your product is the next best thing, why they need to buy it, or why they need to invest in you or believe in you. So if you're just in it because you're like, hey, I think I have the next $1 million idea, but I'm not really passionate about it, I don't think it really helps people, you may want to rethink that and reevaluate that, because as you go along this journey, it's extremely difficult at times. It's just like this up and down. You're like, one day you're like, woo! The next day you're like, oh crap. And it's like this back and forth of, oh my gosh, and oh craps, and ups and downs. And if you don't have that passion to go behind it, you're going to burn out. You're going to be like, oh, I give up. And you're going to waste a lot of time and energy. But that passion is what keeps you going. And it's also what helps you sell, what helps you stand up for your products, what helps people who are naysayers come in and say, I don't know if that's a great idea. But if you're really passionate about your idea, if you know your product inside and out, you can stand up and say, thanks for your opinion, but I believe. So passion is one thing that I really would encourage. Now, before I go too much into this, if you guys have questions as I go along, just do this, and I will talk to you, because I feel like if you have a question, let's get it now versus waiting towards the end, because I want to make sure. Yes.
You said that Kickstarter is really important.
Yes.
What's a Kickstarter?
Okay, Kickstarter is a crowdfunding campaign. They're fairly new. They've been around, about 5 years or so. A little longer than that. And essentially what it is, so instead of going to investors and saying, here's my product, invest in me, you go into Kickstarter and you say, here's my product, I have a prototype. It's essentially pre-selling your product. And the people say, I believe in you, I believe in your product, so I'm going to back you. And so what they do is they back your production runs for you so that you can get your first production runs out.
It's a website.
Yeah, it's a website. So there's Kickstarter, there's Indiegogo. There are a few other websites that also do crowdfunding now. A lot of the state legislators are really opening up to allow greater fundings. Arizona also recently opened up, and oh my goodness, I'm forgetting the name of the project, but they did open up to smaller investors. So if someone wants to invest like $10,000 instead of $100,000, they're able to do that now. So you can go to like friends and family and say, hey, I need 10 grand and I need 10 grand, and they can pool it together to make a full investment. I'm sorry, I cannot remember the name of the program, but I can look it up and tell you. But just there are other ways to get your product out there in a creative way that doesn't take out a lot of money from your pocketbook. You still need prototypes. You still need professional videos from our video guy. Video is extremely important on that website because that's what you're selling. And you're selling yourself as well as selling your product. Because the one thing that I have noticed is that when it comes to investors and people that are buying your products, everybody buys on an emotional basis. I mean, we all do. Even if you go to the store and you're buying toilet paper, that's an emotional decision. Either you buy the nice fluffy stuff and you're like, woohoo, or you buy the scratchy stuff and then you're emotionally distraught until you buy the better stuff. So,
I hate when that happens.
right? So yeah, it's all emotional based. And so when we're on there, we're thinking about making emotional connections with the people who are potentially buying and investing. Did I see a question back there? No? Okay.
I'm going to interject
Yes.
too, just so you know, with Kickstarter, you can set it up so that people can invest $5, $20, and if you have thousands of people investing $10, so that's kind of the power of Kickstarter, because it doesn't have to be a big investment, So, like Cole, are you here?
Yeah.
Cole just started a Kickstarter, but you got to be very strategic, don't you, Cole? You have to be very careful.
There to get it out there.
Yeah. So if you're, look more into that, we can talk about that.
When you invest, what's the return on the investment that people can start? Is it just
Well, they get actually, let's say, at at a $20 level, however you want to structure it, you can give them 5 items of your product, or it's not, you don't have to pay them back at all.
Okay.
It's you give them product or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but they're really just saying, I believe in you. Here's $20, and you have thousands of people doing that.
So with no return, I mean.
You don't pay them back.
Right, it's
Yeah.
it's
That's
not
right.
crowdfunding
So-
for equity. It's a way of raising money essentially by pre-selling a certain number of
Exactly,
units.
yeah.
Yeah, it's essentially a platform that does what I did when I first sold my product. Was I said, here's my product. I have an idea. If you're interested, buy in at the pre-sale. And usually at the pre-sale amount, you're selling at a lower price than normal retail. You're like, hey, this is going to be $49.99 retail, but you get it for $29.99. And people are like, ooh, I like the product. I like the deal. And they jump in. And people know that, you know, sometimes they won't always fund or things like that. So they're very savvy in Kickstarter. And it's actually a lot of fun to do, but it is one of those things that you need a strategy. And like I said, with the Facebook and things, you need to be promoting yourself and your product and building your audience way before you launch on Kickstarter. And I actually tested this where I had a product idea and I'm like, I'm just going to launch it and I'm going to see what happens. And I didn't have an audience. I didn't do any promotion. I just wanted to see if it was possible without doing anything, just on the basis of having a fun, quirky product. And I raised like $700, but it did not meet its goals. And so I did that intentionally so that I could learn and test. Are we?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So I could learn and test to see if it was possible. So it is very rare that you can sell out without having some sort of audience first. So definitely keep that in mind if you're going to run a Kickstarter. And that kind of works into finding your niche. With your products, you know, you want to be that product that is standing out, that has something different, something that people are going, oh, I need that. And sometimes it's as simple as just being a different colored apple, but sometimes it's a little bit more. When you stand out, though, and when you find that niche, you're able to understand your market and your potential customer in depth. And a lot, when you understand those people, they become dedicated and passionate followers. And this is one of the things that I've definitely experienced with the cloth diaper industry, is that I have never paid for advertising ever for my cloth diaper products. And that is because we've created a passionate, almost neurotic following of women. And they are so passionate about the products that they'll go tell everyone. They actually have little business cards. They're cloth diaper evangelists, and they'll pass them out. And they like to convert. And that is what we mean by carving out our niche, is that when you find those people that are so passionate about your product, you don't need to sell to everybody. You just need to sell to the people who really need your products. And they will become your biggest supporters and your biggest marketers, because they're getting results from your products. Because they're like, hey, I tried that product. It worked for me. You have to try it too. And in the same sense, you have to be very careful, because if they try your product and it doesn't work, they're going to tell a heck of a lot more people. So be very careful when you're putting your products out there. Make sure that you're running testing and doing market studies with people. Is one of the things that I actually didn't do when I first launched my products. And I got lucky that people loved what I launched. But if you find a core group to test your product, say, hey, you know, I'll sell you my product at a discount if you test it. Don't do it with friends and family, ever. Never friends and family, because they'll always tell you they love it, and you need that feedback, and you need honest feedback. So find people who are familiar with competitive products and offer them at a discount. Never offer them for free. You'll never get your feedback back. I've learned that the hard way. So yeah, when you find your niche, you're going to find that viral following. So don't be worrying about like, oh, I have to sell to everybody in the U.S. No, just, you know, if you have the right number of people that are passionate, they'll keep your products sold out. And that is where you really want to be, building your market, being slightly different, just enough to where you're standing out, where people are like, oh, I want the blue fish instead of the orange fish that everybody is getting, right? Yes?
Are you manufacturing your own, do you run your manufacturer, or?
So when I first started, I did run manufacturing myself. We've now outsourced, and we have a manufacturing plant in China and also in Taiwan. I am in love with my manufacturer in Taiwan. My Chinese manufacturer is like, eh. I would say if you're going overseas, we did a lot of research actually trying to keep manufacturing here in the U.S. It was very, very important for me, and we found that we could not maintain competitive pricing by staying here. And it was something that actually really broke my heart because I really did want to keep the jobs here. If you're going to China, be very, very cautious. There is a saying that if you tell someone from China on the airplane about your product, by the time you get off the airplane, they're going to be manufacturing it. And so be very careful, be very cautious with how you set that up. There are companies that will help you with that. I have not worked with one, but I do know there are people out there that can help you. Personally, I'm just learning Mandarin myself so I can go over there and manage things because I'm one of those people. I'd like to DIY everything myself. I don't always recommend that, but that's the way I roll. So does that help with your question?
And we do have sources.
So I don't license out?
No, yeah.
I do not license my products right now. Licensing is a very viable option for a lot of products. We had a couple companies that were interested, but it never quite got to that point for us. Now that the industry is growing, I actually do have a company, one of my distributors in Germany, who actually we're in discussions right now for licensing the patterns and products, and they will use those over there. So yeah, you can. There's lots of different ways to do licensing, and it's definitely a viable option. You have to look at, are you willing to do all the chaos that's ensuing with manufacturing yourself versus having a distributor or things like that. I think Amazon makes it very, very easy to manufacture your own products now. For instance, when we order my products, I do very little work on my cloth diaper company right now. Everything's kind of on autopilot because I have an amazing distributors. When they need product, they send me an email. They tell me how much they want. I email my manufacturer. They make the product and ship it directly to the distributors. The distributors then send it out to the retailers. I even have the option to send it directly to Amazon. So for that company now, I probably work maybe, I don't know, an hour a week on it. I don't do a lot of work, and that's really where you want to get your companies. If your company can operate without you, then it's a viable company, and that's where you want to get it. You want to be able to take vacations.
Is the distributor affiliated with Amazon, or?
No, the distributor is just a natural products distributor that I was connected to by someone else that used them. Networking is one of my favorite things. And I'm really big on using people that other people have already used and have good reviews for. So I had a friend who sold her products to this distributor who said, hey, you need to work with them. I will say this distributor did not have experience with Amazon, and we had a lot of hiccups. Amazon is a whole different animal, and setting up your product in the Amazon system is a little bit... I cried a few times. Let's put it that way. I cried a few times. And I do know that there are people specifically that manage Amazon accounts. And if Amazon is your target, I would definitely suggest talking to someone who's an expert because it's not like selling regular retail. And there's so many little nuances that you're saving yourself a lot of tears if you find someone who's an expert to work with that. So. We'll just kind of move on. So demand and supply, and yes, I do know that normally that's supply and demand, but I intentionally put that backwards. It is possible to be completely independent of your industry terms or trends. And I want to say that because so often we get caught up in, there's something really trendy going on, like the fidget spinners. And I better go out and make the newer, better, faster fidget spinner, right? Well, by the time you get through manufacturing, the market's oversaturated. And you have to find a way that makes your product completely stand alone and a standalone in an oversaturated industry. You have to have these ways of standing out so that people go, oh, and they take notice and they go, I need that. And sometimes they're just very simple changes, and sometimes they're more profound changes. But quite often, if you set your business up right with the right strategy, if you set your products up with the right strategy, people are going to notice you. And when you set up your products that are independent from market trends, you're not dependent on what goes on in your market. So, for instance, 2008 crash happened, and the diaper industry as a whole, the sales went down quite drastically. Our sales skyrocketed. Why? We were independent of the trends because we had something different, and people wanted that different. And we were able to convey the value of the product that supported them. And it was right when people were really making a big push towards natural and product saving, and we solved two problems with our product for that. So let's go on here. Proving your concept and then scaling it. A lot of people don't go through this process, and I talked about this briefly before, where you really want to do a proof of concept. And I'm like this idea person. I have an entire notebook full of ideas, and my business coach, he's always like, just write it down and come back to it later, because I'm constantly coming up with these ideas. But I actually came up with a process where I will actually go through a 24-hour vetting process of new ideas to say, hey, is this an idea that needs to happen now? Is this an idea that I need to get out there now? Because I am a big believer that, whether you believe in God or the universe or whoever you believe in, that when you get those idea downloads, there's a purpose for them. And that if you don't run and jump on an idea, that someone else will. And a perfect example, can't talk today, guys. Perfect example of that is one of my clients. He had this product that actually was really cool. And it was a noisemaker for football games. He sat on this product for 10 years. And then he came to me and says, I want to take this product to market. And he demonstrated to me. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's actually a pretty cool product. Let me do some more research into your market and see what we can do. Because I always do a market viability search for my clients before I tell them I can work with them, because I think it's important for me to believe in them, but also that they have a viable product. And I don't want to give people smoke and mirrors. So as I'm researching, I find out, I'm not a football fan, my husband is, that the football stadiums have outlawed noisemakers. So at the time his product was invented, it was a great product. He could have sold and made probably a few $1 million on it and had a great product. Now there's no market for it because he can't sell it in the stadiums. So who's going to use it? So you go through that proof of concept, and as I talked about, I have a 24-hour thing where I'll research the competition, I'll see what's out there, I'll see how hard is it for me to get this product out there? What kind of work does it take? And is it time for me to do that? And I would definitely suggest doing that, where you get a proof of concept. You maybe come up with a prototype like I did with my fasteners. I'm not kidding you. I had that off to a manufacturer in days. And once you get those proof of concepts, those prototypes, then you can kind of say, hey, yeah, this is viable. I'm going to put more energy into this. But, so often, and I've been to so many trade shows where you see people who's they've been stuck on this same idea for 10, 20 years. And it's like, hey, it's okay. You came up with a great idea. Let it go and try a new one. So don't be afraid of letting go of ideas also, because, sometimes it's just, sometimes they're great and sometimes it's just time to let them go. And if you came up with one great idea, you can come up with more. And I love ideas. And then it comes into creating a product that people actually need. Because just because you need it doesn't mean that other people need it. And I'm sure if you guys have ever been to invention trade shows, sometimes you're going, what is that? What did you come up with? And so that kind of comes into your proof of concept and really creating product that people need, not just you. Because, you might need this weird little thingy-majig that solves your problem, but it's not going to be a viable product if it doesn't solve someone else's problem too. So definitely, be realistic. It's us as inventors, we get very emotionally attached to our ideas. They're like children. And if anybody hurts our babies, we're like, no, that's my baby, that's my idea. And I have learned that you almost have to become emotionally detached from your products And when you do that, you're able to go a little bit further and move further with your products because you're not making emotional-based decisions. Did you have a question? Okay, I see the arms, so I'm like, just, do this. So you do it, my kids say, Mom, Mom, Because with 7 kids, that happens like daily.
How are you still saying? 7 kids.
I don't know that I actually am still sane. I just, it's organized chaos, and it's a lot of fun, And I think that's actually funny because people are like, how do you do it with 7 kids? Well, I do it the same way everybody else does. I get up in the morning, and I do my thing. And that's kind of how everybody is. Just get up in the morning and do your thing, and not let outside issues and things that are in your life affect what you're doing, It's really interesting how things work. And, I'm going to Nashville in 2 weeks to be a speaker at a 2-week training over there. And people are like, how are you going to leave your kids? And I'm like, you do it. You get set up systems, you get support. And when you have the right systems and support, it really makes a big difference. So, yeah. And again, getting your product to your customers. So many people I have talked to have these amazing ideas, and they sit on them. Oh, I'm afraid someone will steal it if I put it out there. Well, I'm not quite ready to put it out. Oh, wait, like the guy I told you, one of my clients. Oh, he waited and waited and waited, and bang, it's too late. Don't wait to get your products out there. A provisional patent, and actually, if you want to link to it, I actually have a video. Again, I'm not a lawyer. I always recommend people use lawyers, but I did write my own provisional patents, and I fully believe it's possible for people to write your own provisional patents. It's $65. Just do it, get your idea out there and try it. You get a full year, like Les said, you get a full year to mess around with it, to try it, to test the market, to see if you can, to make a go at it. So do it. I love that about the provisional patents. You get a micro entity status, and $65, you spend more than that on dinner and a movie, so why not? Your product needs to be so good people want to experience it. And like I was talking about before, people are very emotional when it comes to their products and their buying. And what they want to do is they want to experience something new. They want new experiences, the new shiny object syndrome. And when your product is really good and really like that new shiny object, like the iPhone that everybody waits in line for, people are going to naturally gravitate to it. They're going to, oh, I really want to experience that. And there are definitely ways that you can set up your products so that people will want to experience them. And we're going to kind of get into that now, I think. So we're going to talk about the types of innovation. And innovation is how you get people so excited to try your products, to experience your products. And there's really 3 types of innovation. And that's product innovation. So something that's really kind of like new and amazing and like, oh my gosh, that's like the coolest, nicest like iPhone that's out there. You have systems innovations like Facebook. Facebook is what kind of like the new address book, the new way to keep track of your friends. So systems innovation, and then brand innovation is essentially rebranding something that's kind of already been out there. And this is, I'm going to talk about one of my favorite things first, Squatty Potty. Have you guys ever seen the Squatty Potty commercial? Yes, this is like one of my favorite commercials ever. And it's what we call a product innovation. It's a new product that people did not know that they needed. I mean, how many of you guys knew that you needed a better way to poop? Nobody, right? If Squatty Potty came in with this and they said very medically, blah, 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 medical status, you need to buy this product because it'll improve the way you poo, right? They were going to have a lot harder time to sell it. Squatty Potty went on Shark Tank, got some new marketing, yes, and now they're educating people in a fun and informative way that makes them go, oh, I didn't know I had that problem. Oh my gosh, I need to solve that problem. And oh my gosh, this is hilarious. And this video went viral because they were able to convey in a way that educates and informs in a really engaging and funny way, and also in a way that people are going, oh my gosh, I have to share this. This is me, or this is you, or you need this product. And they built that in with their strategy so that everybody now needs a squatty potty. And I should have put a picture in here, including my 16-year-old daughter, who didn't ask for a car, but asked for a squatty potty for her birthday, and was very proud to show that off on Facebook and Instagram. Yes, and that's what people do. You get these customers like, oh, I got it. And what do? They post it on social media, and they advertise for you. This is another one that I love. This is soap for introverts. Soap has been around for thousands of years, since the Roman times. But it's a brand innovation. They have branded it, if you read it, it's soap for introverts, unscented, because seriously, you're not going anywhere anyways, right? It's hilarious. It's a hilarious way to rebrand the product and innovate. And the point for showing all of this is that sometimes we think that we need to have these massive world-changing ideas, or we shouldn't put them out there. We shouldn't sell them. When really, sometimes it's as simple as relabeling a bar of soap and changing things slightly that create a powerful product that sells and one that people want to buy. Because, hello, I actually went on this website and ordered soap. And I have, if you ask my husband, I'm a little bit of a soap hoarder. I have probably 50 bars of different artisan soap. So, yeah. The 3 things that you must have to go viral. You need to educate. So when we talked about the squatty potties, they're educating on their products in a fun and informative way. They're educating people not in a dry way, but in a like, oh my gosh, you need to poop like a unicorn. Well, gosh, everybody loves unicorns, so hey, yeah. And they put a handsome prince, and that was that. Innovate, and we talked about the different types of innovations that you need. When you're innovative, you're going to stand out. Like we were talking earlier, Uber. Taxi companies never saw it coming. And how many hundreds of years has transportation been around? Since Chinese times when they carried people around in the little carts with the wheels. Do you have a question back there? Okay, I see hands, so I want to make sure I'm answering questions. But they innovated to the point now where everybody's scrambling to keep up. And they have created what we call like a blue ocean, where it does not matter what the market's doing, what the market is trending. They didn't care about what taxi drivers were doing. They didn't care what bus drivers were doing. They carved out their own niche so that it didn't matter what anybody else was doing, and they set the terms. And now they're the industry leader, between them and Lyft, thanks to a awkward moment with Uber's CEO, but that's a whole nother topic. And then motivate. And when we talk about motivate, is that you're motivating people to share your product, to buy your product, and to experience your product. The shareability factor that I call is like where you give them the WTF, I won't say the actual words moments, but you know what I'm talking about. People are like, what the crap is that? Or they go, oh my gosh, this is me or this is you. I have to share this. And that's what makes things go viral, is because they've been educated about an innovation, and it motivates them to go share that around social media. And social media really is where the bulk of your advertising is coming now. And a lot of advertisers will pay influencers and people like that. But if you set up your products right, like I said, I've never paid for advertising, because you will create your niche and those people will share for you. So, I'm actually quoting my dad here. He says, always seek to be completely independent from others' opinions. And I talked about that before, is that you really want to be so solid in your ideas, so solid in what you're doing, that if you're going to always get naysayers, you're always going to get someone that's going to come up to you and say, I don't know if that's going to work. You really want to try that? I had my husband, he was like, I don't think you're going to be able to get a patent on that. Are you really going to be able to patent a diaper? And I was like, watch me, right? Watch me. And I went and I did it. And when I got my patents, I walked up to him and I honey, look, I told you so. And those I told you so moments are so fun. They really are. But if you let people, sway you with their opinions, if you let them tell you, oh, well, I don't know, don't try that, it's going to stop your progress. And, I even had a lawyer when I was filing for one of my patents that was like, I'm not sure it was all negative. I went and got another lawyer because I wanted everybody on my team to believe in what I was doing and believe in the product. Because when you have that kind of support and that positive energy, you can go so much further than having naysayers and having people who are like, well, I'm not so sure, you better be careful, it's going to cost a lot of money. Well, yeah, I mean, I spent 30 grand on patents. I had a really good patent lawyer, thank goodness. I spent probably another 30 or 40 grand on my production and my molding and getting things set up. So yeah, I did put in a lot of money, but I mean, you think about this as an ATM. If someone came up to you and said, here's a debit card. There's, for instance, my company is worth $2.2 million. Here's a debit card. There's $2.2 million on here, but the ATM fee is 100 grand. Are you going to not withdraw that money? Of course not. You're going to be like, I'll pay that fee. I'll take the rest of that money, right? Because it's just the way it is. And so, set yourself up right, ignore the naysayers, and really, I keep seeing hands back here, so it's a mom thing, right? The eyes in the back of my head. So, yes.
Who's washing these diapers?
I washed my own diapers. My diapers are a home washing thing. There are still services out there. In fact, I do have services that purchase my products who deliver and pick up washing. But primarily now, parents use their own cloth diapers and they wash them in their own washing machines. And it's no less sanitary than washing your underwear at home. But when I started in the market, we were looking at 5 to 10% of parents were using cloth diapers. So I was what you call an early adopter of the industry. And now we're at 47% of parents use cloth diapers at least part-time. And this is all due to the marketing efforts of parents who wanted to see that product out there and get it out there. And there's so many people now that are so aware and in tune, thanks to the internet, of social things and more conscious of the environment and things like that. So they're out there, and it's so much easier for people to connect with you and your products that, like I said, they get out there and they really share it. So we're very excited to see the growth in the industry. But yeah, I did wash. I think we calculated I think I changed over 90,000 diapers in the past 20 years. So yeah, it was a natural, I guess, for me to open a cloth diaper company, but I never thought that it was anything that I would do. So, and then I just want to talk more about motivation for a second, is that, there will always be obstacles that will come in your way. There will always be things that will make you feel like giving up, where you're like, this is too hard. This is crazy, I can't do this. I actually got a rejection on one of my patents. And I was like, they rejected me? I just spent all this money on a patent and I got a rejection. And I was like almost hysterical. I was ready to give up because, oh my gosh, I'd put all of this time and effort into my patents and I got a rejection. Well, I had surrounded myself with the right team and my lawyer says, oh no, this is pretty common. A lot of patent examiners like to make a little extra money, and every time they have an action on your case, they make money. So this is pretty common to get a rejection, and he was able to calm me down. But we have to remember that, to even be able to create a product, to even be able to invent a product, you have some amazing genius inside of you. And you have to get to the point where instead of doubting yourself, you're doubting your doubts. You're saying, no, I'm going to do this. I'm not going to doubt myself. I'm going to just plow through this and experience it. And every time I've had those instances, they've been amazing learning experiences, obviously, because I'm here now teaching about all the things that I've learned over the years. And as you learn, it's amazing because you learn and you grow and you're able to create more and continue that innovation with the products that you have. So never doubt yourselves. I am very, very big, because I am an intuitive strategist, on people following your intuition and following your gut. And even if things look right on paper and your gut is telling you no, listen to that. I will tell you about one of my failures is that I have a product right now with my new manufacturer in China that was kind of like, intuitively, I was like, everything looked good on paper. This makes sense. I'm going to do this deal. Intuitively, I'm like, warning, warning, don't do this. But I was like, no, it looks right on paper. I'm going to do it. Didn't listen to myself. And it ended up costing me oh my gosh, well, the original quote was 6,000 for the production run. Now we're up to 18 grand because he kept nickeling and diming me and charging me more. And so, yeah, I was like, gosh, dang it, if I would have listened and gone with what I had intuitively thought was right, it would have worked out a lot better. So I'm very big on that, encouraging you guys to listen to your gut, listen to your intuition, even if it looks right on paper. And that is the end of tonight. And I'm open for any questions. Pardon?
You said you had 2 products.
I do. I actually have one in my back. Hold on, I'll
Let's
show you.
see it.
Yeah. Give me a second here. Okay, I'll pass this around. So I have the cloth diaper you saw in the picture, and this is my Boingo fastener. They're essentially a substitute for diaper pins. They're like a stretchy, you can pull them out of the package too. They're like a stretchy ace bandage fastener. And they're used to fashion traditional rectangle pre-fold type diapers. And this is the product that I was telling you about, that I woke up in the morning with the idea from a dream. And I was like, oh, sketched it out, molded it, found the manufacturer, and we sold out of that shipment before that product even arrived from the manufacturer. And
You said you're selling on the internet, and then you have distributors.
Yes.
And what stores are they in?
so I have a lot of independent retailers. We were in Whole Foods for quite a while. And when I took my manufacturing overseas, Whole Foods had, now that they're working with Amazon, I'm not sure of the changes, but they had a policy that because I got brought on as a local vendor, that I had to reapply because I was taking my manufacturing outside of Arizona. So we're not in Whole Foods right now. We're re-evaluating because of the shifts with Amazon. That's taking a little bit longer. But the majority of my products are sold either by online or brick and mortar independent retailers or on Amazon. I actually no longer sell on my own website. I have found that I hate packing, shipping, and receiving. And I have learned that there are jobs that are $10 an hour jobs, and you can pay someone to do those. And your time is better spent doing things like inventing, innovating, things that you're really good at. So, like I said, I'm really big on DIY, but I'm also big on hiring out the jobs that you hate because it just slows you down. And that's one of the jobs that I hate. So that's why I have distributors. So, yes.
As far as the quality of the product, going from, I know you started in the United States.
Yes.
And go to overseas. I know we have a better quality control in the United States than
Yes.
I experienced than overseas, unless you go to Europe or someplace like that.
Yes. Yes. That.
What's your experience with the quality?
Yeah, that was a big concern for me as well because, yeah, American made always seems to be the better made product. This product that you see going around, I did talk to several American manufacturers, and I was quoted anywhere between $40 and $80 to manufacture those 2 fasteners, which there's no way. I mean, if my competition is diaper pins. I have 2 competition, diaper pins, and there's another fastener that works, I can't say similar, but another fastener on the market, and they sell for, $4.99 a pack and $7.99 a pack. I would never be able to compete. And honestly, now people don't value the Made in America brand as much as they used to, and that it's, in my experience, the Made in America brand is best used for upscale products, higher end products where people are willing to pay that price.
I strongly disagree. I'm a foreigner.
Yes.
Foreigners always look for Made in America product.
This is very true, actually. My distributor in Germany, they love American-made products. You're right. So when you are selling to international audiences, that does make a difference. So I guess we'll say that it makes a difference on who your audience is. Yeah, that goes into knowing your niche and knowing your market, who you're selling to. And what they value, because if they value it, it's worth it.
I just came back from Europe, and I think America is the only country that takes so much of the Asian marketing.
Yes.
I mean, I went to everything is European.
Yes. I do think that we're overly dependent on Chinese manufacturing, and one of the things that I found as I was trying to get my production here in the U.S. was that they actually took entire factories and shipped them to China, and we don't even have manufacturing base here anymore. It's very small. I have heard things that are moving to expand the manufacturing base again. I don't know if I dare say the T word, but Trump, I've heard, has been encouraging that manufacturing base to come back. But, right now we'd be in big trouble if China said they wouldn't want to do business with us anymore, because we do get the majority of our products from there right now. So, yeah, but yes.
Do you have a patent in Germany, or do you have patents anywhere other than the United States?
I do not. There are worldwide patents available, as I'm sure you guys are aware. At the time, I was not aware of them when I was filing. And so by the time I became aware of them, it was too late for me to utilize them. It's a strategic decision on my part. I've found that you patent where your biggest markets are, and that you just kind of let the chips fall. I've had people who've infringed on my patents, and the thing that I've found out about people who infringe is that they can copy a product, they cannot innovate the product. So when you have a new product, yeah, it's new and great for a while, but you're going to need that continual innovation to keep on top of the market, and they will fall flat and fall away because they're unable to do that. And the two people that were infringing on my patents both went out of business. So I'm a big proponent of karma and letting the negative energy just kind of fall back on those people. So I've just kind of left it. I've also found that enforcing patents is insanely expensive. You're looking at like $600,000 to start, probably spending millions. I have a friend right now who's in litigation over her patents. So she has multiple, the one that was on Shark Tank, multiple infringers, and she's over $2 million in legal fees. And that's not where I want to put my energy or my money, So, yeah. Yeah.
How are you going to police it?
Did you send them a cease and desist letter?
We did, and you have to be very careful with cease and desist, because cease and desist, they can actually legally come after you and say, prove it. And they can drag you into court and at your expense. So what I found is the value of patents comes in creating value for your company, creating value for your investors, and creating value in a potential exit where you're like, I'm ready to sell my company to a bigger corporation or to license. Those are where the value of your patents, because you're showing I have protected IP. If a big company, for instance, we've had seventh generation. I don't know if you're familiar with seventh generation. If you use natural products, they're one of the biggest natural products manufacturers for like soaps and toiletries and such. And we've had discussions with them about potentially buying us out. And I've noticed on my LinkedIn that Procter & Gamble has been snooping. So it gives big companies like that value, because they're looking at it going, there's a patent in place. I have an entire legal team. I don't care about suing someone. They don't care. They have that ability to go in and protect those patents where small inventors don't. So that's where the value in those patents really lies, I think.
No,
So.
let me clarify one thing. There's not really
Yeah.
a worldwide patent that you can file. You have to file in individual countries where you want to get a patent issued. So there's not one all-encompassing patent.
Yeah, I'd seen something online where worldwide, but you're right. It's like individual.
It's a publication by the World Patent Organization.
Yeah.
But it's not a worldwide patent.
Yeah, you're right. You do have to go in individual countries, and yes.
I must have misunderstood, but I thought you said that you had a one-size-fits-all diaper as well as...
Yes, I do. I did not bring it with me. I'm so sorry. Because, honestly, I was distracted when I left with the kids. I could pull up the pictures. I have 7 kids, right? We call that mom brain, but no. Yeah. Yes, so I do. If you want to check out the diaper, you can go to boingobaby.com, and there will be pictures of the diaper on there. Essentially what it is we have a reusable outside shell that has adjustable elastic. So you adjust the elastic on the legs and waist to scrunch down the diaper really small for small babies, and it expands to fit up to a 50-pound child for potty training. The inserts, we have inserts, so it's a strategic integration of the system where you can use the Boingo fasteners and the traditional freefold with the adjustable cover over it, or we have a snap-in washable insert, as well as in development, which something that the investors will help with that project is we have a biodegradable disposable product that will be made out of volcanic ash and denim jeans. Yeah, so recycled into a disposable product that will help with the kind of a zero waste type product initiative. Yes.
So when you say with your investors, and how did you get your investors?
So I hired a coach. I think, business coaches, you can DIY everything you want, but I am a big proponent of hiring a business coach because they move you along a lot faster. Not talking like the Inventors Association, because we all know they're like, don't work with them, but an actual business coach with expertise. Yeah, and I actually wrote my first business plan for a business plan competition at BYU, and then I got connected with my business coach, who helped me expand that business plan and get in to present to investors. So we've presented, ATIF was the one that offered $800,000. It ended up falling apart in the end of it, just due to the lead investor moving to Canada and some other things. But yeah, it's getting in front of it. There's lots of money out there. I mean, there's one thing, don't feel like there's not money out there. There's so much money out there to be had, and there's investors for every type of product. You just need to get it in front of the right one.
Now, are yours angel investors or your venture?
So that was ATIF, so they're angel. I also have friends and family investors, and friends and family are, if they're the right friends and family, they can be great investors, as long as they're not too, you need to be very clear with them. They're like, hey, I don't know when I'll be able to pay you back, but thanks for helping. And that's kind of where I was with my friends and family. Hey, you believe in me, I'd appreciate the help. So, yes, yeah. Yes?
When you were looking into manufacturing overseas, what countries did you check out, and why did you settle on China? The standard belief is that in China, as a cost of doing business, you have to give them your IP so that they can copy you.
Yeah.
And then when your factory run is done, they're off and running.
Most companies that is the case. The ones that I work with, luckily, is not. We looked at manufacturing in India and South America. The fastener that's going around is a product that's made in Taiwan. And I have found that, like I said, using your network is huge. There's the company that does the fasteners is a small family-owned company. And they've just been wonderful. I mean, they call every holiday, how are you doing? I've never had a problem ever with knockoffs in the market. You can make sure to get agreements into place. You can also, I would actually suggest filing a patent in China if you're going to manufacture there. Just as an, well, I have the diapers are also in China. So if you're going to China or wherever you're going, consider filing your patent where you're being manufactured and getting those dual patents, where you're manufactured and where you're primarily selling. But luckily, I have not had an issue with either manufacturer putting out any sort of knockoffs. Like I said, my friends got lots of knockoffs. So, it's almost like the luck of the draw. I guess I got really, really lucky that I don't have issues with that.
We have 4 of our members do China sourcing. 4 of our members do China sourcing. That's their business. They've been in business for a long time. So that's somebody, that we could share with the
over here, and then I'll come back to you. Yes?
Why do you think that people are going back to cloth diapers? Is it because of fear of filling landfills with diapers?
Yep.
It's really layered now. There's obviously the economy was huge. People are looking to save money. So you can cloth diaper 16 babies for the same cost as one disposable diapered baby, with our least expensive system. So they look at the cost. People are very environmentally and health conscious now. They're looking for eco-friendly products, products that can feel good about. They want to know that they're safe for their kids, especially with all the things. I mean, everything nowadays causes cancer. People want to reduce, the exposures to toxins. And so there's really a layered market for cloth diapers. You have the people who want to save money and the people who care about the environment and the people who care about the health, and they all kind of converge in the middle. And then there's some people like my daughter who uses cloth diapers part-time for my grandchild, and she uses disposable part-time. So they, it's very interesting to see how that market has kind of expanded, and it's become a lot more mainstream. So,
I have a
yeah.
question for you. And this is kind of like outside of the invention, but
Sure.
let's say creating your own business in a saturated market.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind
Yeah.
of really listening to you as to how to create your niche.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any advice for starting a business, a consulting business? How do you do that and
Yeah.
be different?
Well, yeah, I mean, for instance, coaching, which I'm doing with being an intuitive business strategist, is I'm a coach for people who launch businesses. And that's a very oversaturated market because there's very few barriers to entry. So when you stand out, you're essentially saying, I have something that's so different that people will naturally gravitate towards your solution for their problems, because everything we're creating is a solution for a problem. And so I'm showing people like, hey, I have the solution for your problem, and I have the best way of giving you that solution. And people are able to recognize that, and so they just, they gravitate towards me. And I've just now, like, people know me now as like, this is where you need to go. And that's when we come into creating that client base and that niche. It's like they know what your product is, and then you just start getting referrals from everybody who's gotten the results. And it's the same, when you're doing digital products like coaching and physical invention products as well, that when you get the people the results in a way that just really resonates with them, they'll gravitate towards you. They'll buy anything you put on the market. Like with cloth diapers, every time I put out a new color, a new print, sold, people are like, bang, buy it. 2,000, I think right now we have the next product color for the fastener, and we already have 2,000 fasteners pre-ordered, because everyone's like, ooh, I need the new color, So, and that's because we've created that niche. So it's all about being recognized as the expert or the product that solves that problem. So I'm going to go over here first because he had a question. I'll come back to you. Yes. You forgot? Oh my goodness. Well, I'm sorry. If you remember.
Oh, as far as the material
Yes.
that you use, do you have a patent on the material too? Is it special? Is it cotton?
I don't have a patent on the material. My patents are for the adjustment, the way that it adjusts. So the way that it functions as a one-size adjustable diaper, because cotton diapers have been around forever. That's what they use in disposables. That's what they call an obvious thing. So it was something that obviously I can't patent because it's just obvious. They already use it for disposables. They've already used it. So. I actually also use a fabric called Coolmax. If you guys are into working out, you'll know Coolmax is an athletic wicking fabric. And we were actually the first company to use that for our cloth diapers. But my lawyer was of the opinion that it wasn't patentable, so we didn't go into trying to do that. And I had already put so much money in that I didn't want to expand that. But, obviously, if you can patent everything you can patent it. I am a big believer, the more the patents, the merrier, because like I said, it just adds value to your company. So, she had a question, they'll come to you.
Is there a difference in your thinking between a business coach and a professional marketer?
Absolutely. Yeah, so a business coach or mentor is someone who's kind of been there, done that. They're going to be able to hold your hand through the process and they're going to be able to tell you, like, this is the next step, this is the next step, this is the next step. So for instance, like when my coach was coaching me, he's like, okay, we have the business plan. Now we're going to create the pitch deck. Now we're going to present that to investors. You know, and it's the same when I coach my clients. It's like, okay, we've done this, now we do this. And it really helps open up the process, and it speeds the process dramatically. So when you're looking at a marketer is setting up like the videos. That's a marketing team. Like the Squatty Potty, the marketing team came in that and said, okay, this is the marketing plan for this video. This is how we're going to do this. And so marketing teams are awesome, but don't even bother with spending your money on that until after you've vetted your product, you've gone and gotten everything together, because a marketing team like that and doing videos like that are, you know, obviously they had to get a Shark Tank investment to cover it. They're not cheap. So you need to be very strategic with where you spend your money, especially like if you get seed capital. It's very easy to go, woo, I'm going to go out and get a fancy website, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do marketing, and then you run out of money like that, and you're like, oh crud, what am I going to do now? So you don't want to get in that position. Focus on the things that generate money first and generate sales, and then go into the, you know, fluffy extras. So yes.
So I had a question. Do you have a unique printed pattern on the diapers? And if so, I mean, something that marks the brand? And if so, do you have design patents on it?
So I don't do design patents because I utilize copyright. My background actually is in art, so I do all the designing for my patterns. And one of the tricks, and I think this is one of the reasons why when we're talking about China, why I've been very successful in not having them, you know, print extra fabric runs and make knockoffs, is that I hide into my print everywhere, Boingo Baby. So if you look at the print, there's very, very small writing everywhere, where if you're looking at it up close, you have to really search for it. But I hide it in there everywhere so that I know they can't reuse it. Just as in my molds, if you see this going around, the silicone has Boingo Baby on it and patent pending. And so that's in my mold, so they can't use my mold to sell knockoffs. So yeah, definitely think about that. Little things like that, I think, is what has actually saved me from getting knockoffs. Now that I'm thinking in hindsight, I'm like, yeah, that's probably something that's really helped. So yeah, but yeah, I definitely utilize the copyrights for the artistic creation part. Yes?
I just want to mention, if you're interested in getting a business coach and mentoring and starting and growing your business, this building we're in, that's what they do here. I mean, if you get to apply, and then if they accept you, then you get all the mentors that you need, and they help to try to promote your business and help you grow it. Make sure you do things in the right order.
There's 20 companies.
CEI.
20 companies are here in this facility. The first year, the rent is under market to help you out. Second year, at market. Third year, a little bit above to convince you to move on. You should have grown. But they coach you and help you and have support facilities.
They really target the tech market a little bit more than
Which one?
tech.
Tech, yes.
Yeah.
Tech and medical are their, the names of the companies are by the door there. You can see.
Yeah, they're having design days coming up in the next week or so. So there's flyers out there on their design days. So if you want to come by, PADT will be here. Some of the, you know, the big guys will be here. So it's worth it if you want to come by.
Yeah.
So the flyers outside.
Yeah, I'm in absolute agreement with that. You know, ASU, they have Sky Song. There's so many programs. Phoenix is really growing as a center for innovation, and there's so many free resources. I mean, SBA, so many ways to connect with people who can help you, and a lot of those resources like SBA and ASU are free. You know, one of my clients is like, well, I can't afford a website and I can't afford a copywriter. So I sent her to her local college, and she went to the professors and she said, hey, I need help with the website. Well, her website is now some student's final project, and she's getting a free website. The student's benefiting because they're working learning to work with an actual client. And there's so many ways that you can get that free help, that you don't need to go spend 10 grand on a website. You don't need to go spend 10 grand on a coach to start. Save your money, because yes, it's expensive to work with coaches. My first coach was 8 grand, and I gave him 9% ownership of my company. My clients, it's $3,000 a month to work with me. But there are ways to still get the free help and the people that can help you. And, people are going to tell you, like, I'm not one of these people that are like, no, you need to have an expensive coach because I'm trying to sell you a coach. No, you don't need an expensive coach. There's free help out there. You can hire an expensive coach who's going to help you move a little rapidly and give you more one-on-one attention, yes. And if it's in your budget, great, go for it. But even some coaches have group coaching programs, less expensive options. There's the internet's just abound with information too.
You can try SCORE. If you're not familiar with SCORE, it's also another resource to Service Corps of retired executives. So you can get a mentor through there, free. And they're not going to be, as intense as like Stacy would be and all that, because they have so many other people, and you can only meet with them, a certain hour or whatever. So, but they're really good for getting you started and getting the basics, for you.
It's great for that idea vetting phase.
Oh yeah, and then when I was working on my product, I used the Art Institute a lot, and they're wonderful to work with. They're so easy. I mean, you get right to the director, because they want to help their students, and their students are great. These are highly talented kids. They're gifted kids in the arts. And I use them a lot. And then I ended up actually being a judge for some of their contests, and kind of like paying back, and which then I got to know more kids too, and then they helped me, and it's just wonderful. So if you have any need for using the kids at the Art Institute, that's a wonderful resource, and you really are helping them, and they're helping you. Is there any other questions?
Yes.
Are we? Well, Stacy, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It was a lot of fun.
And how do we get in touch with you if somebody wants to?
I have a few business cards outside there from last year, but you can also go to my website, stacymcgee.com, or I believe you'll probably. I do. I have a podcast, the Genius Zone podcast, on SoundCloud, and it's 3 minutes of quick, easy business tips and advice, and some mindset stuff to kind of keep you going in your business. I found that I didn't have time to listen to long ones, so I made a really super short one. So it's short and sweet and to the point. So if you guys ever want to listen, it's on SoundCloud. You can also listen to it on iTunes, and if you have an Amazon Alexa device, it's also broadcast through there.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you all.